Okay, hello again. I made a video, did a video recording about an hour or so ago, and I realized the volume is very low. So I'm going to do this again and try to speak up just a little bit. One moment. And I have a few ideas of things I would like to share, and if it resonates with you, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay as well. I would like to just talk about this, the idea of this entire human experience and human existence, and what we think of as this lifetime, and explain, at least for myself, how I put some pieces together and, shall we say, just connected dots and came to some remembrances and realizations. And I hope this might help others in some way. When you remember, or can allow yourself to remember, and allow your imagination, your belief systems to guide you, to remind you that you are the creator of the experience. This is an absolute. You are the creator of your experience. I am the creator of my experience. You are the creator of your experience. You are the eyes and ears of God. It's that immediate of a connection. This is, for myself, an absolute. I'm not saying I am personally God. I'm not saying I'm God in any way. I'm saying we're all immediately connected, tethered to that energy. This is just, it's simple physics, simple metaphysics. It's just the way it is for me, and perhaps for yourself. And perhaps sometimes I wonder if I'm just finally figuring this out and integrating it as an absolute, and it just took me a long time to remember what I needed to remember. Now, this does not mean that I'm perfect in any way, or any of us are perfect in any way. We walk around in a 3D, 4D body and a 3D, 4D earthly experience. So we're human in that way. That is perhaps the fine line, or the uh, way that we remind ourselves we are an infinite aspect of God, so close that we're allowed to engage in imperfections at times and be imperfect and experience the world and enjoy it and engage with it, and perhaps from time to time do things that are less than the most wonderful things we could do, and yet still understand that those less than wonderful things, any idea of anything less than positive, is still part of the learning process and the integration process, and it's okay. What I've come to understand, what I'm sure you know and understand, is that with the idea of the dark and the light, we're in a dichotomous situation where there is dark and light in everything, in all existence, essentially, except perhaps for source. So there's always a degree of dichotomy, a degree of darkness and light. And it's simply a manner of, or a process of, experiencing the dichotomy, experiencing the dark and the light, without choosing to allow it to infiltrate our thinking, to shift our focus, so that we think in a dichotomous way, so that we think everything is black and white, yes or no, good, bad, right, wrong. And this is one of the challenges that has been for myself, and perhaps for others, perhaps for yourself, is to understand that I'm existing and creating in a dichotomous matrix, a dichotomous 3D, 4D experience. But I don't have to allow the idea of such greatness, of potential darkness, to overshadow the light. The light exists to shine a light on the darkness, to help lighten it, right? To help it to grow. That's the part of the reason I'm here. That's the part of the reason perhaps many of us are here, and why we set up certain challenges, or the idea of challenges and limitations and dichotomy and yes, no, good, right, bad, or wrong, to help us balance the energy. Because we know, I believe, and I know within myself that while there are things that seem to happen on the earth that are less than light, I can be the only one to create an experience of it. Let me use an example. Let's just take an issue. I think we used the color red the other day. There are there are many shades of red, right? It's infinite. There are an infinite number of shades of any color. There are an infinite number of perspectives on any issue, political, religious, etc. And it's simply a manner of allowing and appreciating those infinite perspectives from your infinite perspective, and integrating and appreciating and loving and understanding. It's challenging at times to love and appreciate some of the ideas of darkness on the planet when we know this leads to human suffering and great limitation and poses many challenges. And I'm sure you're well aware, as I'm well aware, of the many things which seem to be transpiring in the collective outer reality. And then I have to ask myself, why did I choose to create the idea of knowing that humans suffer and they're limited, and we have these systems in place and things in place which seem to bring so much limitation? And I have to remind myself that it's here to teach me, and I'm here to learn from it. And if I can shed some light on it in some way to remove a little bit of that, shift a little bit of that darkness to more light, then I would like to do that. I'm interested in that, and I know many of you are. I'm sure probably if you're kind enough to listen to this, you have a very similar kind of intention. But please understand, we spoke of time the other day and the idea of time. Any situation, any issue, any possibility, you're observing an infinite possibility from your own infinite perspective. And that's not to, that is to say that all perspectives are valid. All perspectives are valid and true for you from that moment of perspective of the infinite. And as I, and perhaps yourself and anyone who chooses to begin to see more clearly that you're choosing and creating these infinite moments of potential from your perspective of the light, from your perspective of all that is, from your own human, real, very real perspective. I've been able to create the idea of being more consciously aware of what infinite moments I'm choosing to access, align with, to continue to guide me and move me in the direction I wish to go. I hope this is making some sense. These are some thoughts I felt compelled to share, and I appreciate you being kind enough to listen. If you have any questions, let me know. I wish to extend my eternal gratitude for those who have provided input and reflections and feedback and ideas, and feel free to continue to do that. your input and your suggestions, your reflections are incredibly helpful, and I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.